Hello, everyone. Are y'all so excited? We're back with another Dishing with Diamonds. Y'all, I could not be more thrilled about this, but before I introduce our next guest, of course, I'm going to give you our disclaimer. We are simply sharing our journeys. We are absolutely not making any financial claims, nor are we making any health claims. We are just simply sharing our journey to the destination of Diamond. I am Rainey Anderson, and I do have the privilege of being a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, but more importantly, I have the privilege of introducing first my friend, and then a Plexus Diamond as well. Beth Anderson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. You're right. We were friends first before all this Plexus even came around. So that's the fun part of doing this is doing this with your friends and seeing how it absolutely has changed our lives for sure.
Well, we just had a pre-conversation before we got recording, and we said that, just the journey that we've been on, and it has absolutely been a journey. And I think more special because we have, although Beth and I aren't in each other's downlines, or, we're not related that way, we are sideline partners. And I think it's just been that much more special knowing that we've had a history prior to this journey of Plexus. So if you don't care, Beth, well, let me do a better introduction than that. So Beth not only is a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus, she's also a wife and a mama. We met each other at McKinney Christian Academy, where her youngest and my only were in the same grade. And it was an instant liking to Beth. She has since moved to more of the Fort Worth, Texas side of town, but we still stay in touch. And really, through our Plexus events, we have the opportunity to see each other regularly. But Beth is absolutely one of those people that when I know there's a Plexus event, I get excited because I know I get to see my friends. So thank you again for being here. That's a much better introduction.
You're so sweet. The other one was fine.
Well, when you're friends, you just kind of go, there's Beth. Here she is.
Beth. I know her. Whatever.
But you deserve more than that. So anyways, let's get into the questions. How does that sound?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, describe your life for me before Plexus.
Well, it was crazy. I will say that. It was nuts. So let me start off a few years before Plexus because that kind of goes with my story. So actually my whole life, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. You could ask me, I remember in middle school, literally seeing my friends whose moms were able to stay home drive up in their Suburbans and pick them up and they would go home. And not saying I had a terrible life by any means, but I remember visualizing that and thinking, gosh, I hope when I'm older and I have kids that I can drive a Suburban and pick my kids up from school. And I do. So anyways, so my whole life, like I went to college, first person in my family to graduate from college, which was kind of cool. But people would ask me, they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to get married and have kids and be a stay-at-home mom. And so after I graduated, I actually did meet my husband at Texas Tech, and we got married right after I graduated. I did have a great job, but people would ask me, they were like, you could move up in this company. Would you want to do that? I'm like, nope. Stay home and have kids. That's what I want to do. And they were like, you're crazy. But that's just what I always wanted to do. And I am so thankful that God granted me that desire of my heart. And so I have Luke in 2002. He's 14. I can't believe it. Went to our high school football meeting last night. Oh, yeah.
I saw that. That made me misty-eyed.
Yeah, it's awful. So anyways, and so I was able to stay home with him, y'all, and it was the best thing in the world. And staying at home is not for everybody. I totally get that. But for me, it's what I'd always wanted. And so we were always very conservative with our spending and with our money, and we had lots of savings. And around the time we had Jake is 11, and my husband was in the mortgage industry, and it crashed. And so we lost just about everything, like literally everything almost except for our house. And so life changed a whole lot. And I started working all these random part-time jobs because I still wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I still was like, I am going to take my kids to school and I'm going to pick them up from school, and I will do whatever I have to do that. And so, you name it. I would work at Mother's Day out. I worked for a friend who had a school photography business. And so I I would take my kids to school and then go work for her, and then work for her in the evenings. I would do their sports pictures after I got back home. And let's see what else I did. We drove cars. We had a friend. I mean, the most random things, y'all, but it worked. I had a friend who worked for like a leasing company for cars, and sometimes she would need cars driven out of town. And so we would do that, and that's how we sometimes took. I remember we drove a big like restaurant van to Galveston so we could have a family vacation. But I mean, again, it was 1,000,000% God's provision. So when I started Plexus, I had just started working for McKinney Christian for our kids' school, part-time, which was a lot more than part-time. And I had a business on the side, and then was still working for my friends part-time. So 3 really part-time jobs, and Scott traveled all the time, right? And I have 2 busy boys. So crazy would be an understatement. Again, so thankful for God's provision, but this mama was tired. I was tired. So that's my life before Plexus. It was a great life. I would never take that for granted, but things are different now.
But like you said, it was busy, and you know, I mean, I remember that time. I mean, going in 1,000,000 different directions, and why wouldn't you have been tired? You know, I mean, absolutely. So how did you get introduced to Plexus?
Well, I'm sure, as you know, I watched my friends Celeste and Ariel and Rainey take the products. Probably, I think Ariel and Celeste were taking them for about 8 months before I started. And I really thought y'all were nuts. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Because I was never one that took stuff. I didn't take supplements. And so, in my mind, I think back in the day when there was like Fin and like crazy stuff that people were taking. So I see y'all taking this and, losing weight and feeling good. And I'm like, I don't know what they're taking, but they're crazy. So anyways, but then Celeste called me one day when she decided to join. And this is a huge point, because I will say this: if Celeste would have not called me and asked me to do Plexus with her, I would not be doing Plexus right now. True story, period. I would not have done it if she had not asked me. So she was my friend, and she just called and said, hey, I'm doing this, and I think that you need to do it with me. And I was like, you're nuts. I am not doing that. I really had no interest in the products, but I was training for a half marathon at the time, and I had been gaining some weight, and it was not normal. People were like, oh, it's muscle. No, it was not muscle. It was growth. And so Scott was like, you know what, let's just try it. Let's just try it. We'll sign up to get the discount. And so we did. We weren't even smart enough to buy the big welcome pack. We bought the small welcome pack for the 2 of us. And but Celeste didn't leave it at that. And she didn't let me say, I'm just going to be wholesale. I'm just going to be wholesale. She heard me say that, but she wasn't ever pushy or like, you've got to do this. She gently nudged me. And again, if she would not have, I would not be probably working Plexus right now, truthfully. And so I think that is so huge. Huge. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, well, there's power in the invitation.
Right.
Let's do this together. Come on, do this with me. And, I've said this 1,000,000 times about Celeste. She validated for me the business as, and I don't remember what she was in April of 2013, but either gold or senior gold. But my point is she validated the business, and, for me to be able to do this as my full-time job as a gold or senior gold ambassador. We didn't know her as the double diamond phenomenon, anomaly, rock star that she is. She absolutely.
We were doing life with her. Like, it wasn't like she was this rock star network marketing person that was like, come do this. She was our friend. I mean, I literally joined her 3 or 4 days after she signed up. We had no clue what we were doing. Like, I didn't even know that you could make money with it.
We didn't understand the potential there for sure. We just knew she was kind of our barometer of what could happen, and it was really exciting. So Celeste invited you to do it. That's how you're introduced. So walk us through what that business journey looks like.
Well, it's been wild. And like we were talking about earlier, the growth in the past 4 years, my 4-year anniversary was last month, has been just crazy. So I will say this, I really was the biggest skeptic. Like, I knew it worked for my friends. I did not believe it was going to work for me at all. And I did not want to work this business. I say this all the time. My mom probably gets tired of hearing it, but I was so against network marketing because she had done every network marketing thing in the book. You name it, she had done it. She had done chocolate. She had done like dips, like homemade, I don't know what it was. She had done like housewares. I mean, you name it, she did it. And y'all, she would have to have these parties, and she would come to my house because I did some of the parties, and she'd be dragging like baker's racks and dishes and all this stuff. And it took her probably an hour to set up. By the time she was in my house, she was drenched in sweat. And I'm thinking, this is terrible, because she loved it. And I think, it was fun for her. She did craft shows on the weekend. Again, she just set it all up. And I'm like, and she probably, I really have no clue what she made, but I joke and say she probably made like $25 because I don't know. Anyways, but she loved it. But I was like, no way, no how. That is awful. That is not going to be my life. And so, here comes Plexus, and it's network marketing. And I'm like, not for me. But this is what I realized, and I think this is huge too. And I didn't realize this at first. It took me a little bit of time. Is that I've always been a network marketer. I have always shared my favorite things with my friends. That's what girlfriends do, right? When you find your newest boutique or whatever. We actually were out shopping for furniture yesterday, and the lady goes, "Oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Where did you get them?" And I was like, "Oh, I got them at Nordstrom. They're saying Sam Edelman. You should go get some." And I had just told her she should do Plexus, and I was like, "See," I go, "That's exactly what Plexus is." I just told you where to go get some shoes. That's all I'm doing with Plexus. And so it did take a little bit of time for me to realize that, but I think that's huge because so many people think it's so big. It's not. It's sharing with your friends things you are doing, not even liking, because when I first started sharing, I didn't even have a story, and I didn't think it was going to work for me, but I had a story because I had y'all stories. And so I believe that they work for you. So that's what I shared. And so again, I had zero time to work this business, and I would work it 5 minutes here and there throughout the day because I was working all the time. Even though they were part-time, I was working all the time. Here's what I do know. I worked every day, even if it was 15 minutes, 3 different times, like total 5-minute increments. I worked it every day. I shared Plexus every single day. I followed up every single day. I had no clue what I was doing. We didn't even know. I did not even know that there were other products besides Slim and Accelerator. That's all we knew. We didn't know that there were health products. All we knew was that Plexus was going to help us lose some weight, or that's what people told us. Yep. We didn't know. We didn't know how to do a network marketing business. We didn't have team pages at that point. We didn't have Zooms for a long time. We didn't have the information that we have now. We just knew to tell people about Plexus. And so,
yeah, I was about to say, and we walked to school 5 miles in this. We sound like we were like doing this way back,
It's so different though. And it's crazy because that was just 4 years ago, right?
Oh,
so
amazing.
I just started sharing. And as I started sharing, and as I started learning Plexus, and as I started going to meetings and hearing other people's stories, what grew? My belief grew. And I started believing. Well, so I did start sharing. So I remember Celeste called me one day and she goes, "You need to post on Facebook 2 times a day." And I was like, "No, ma'am. No, thank you. I'm not going to do that." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "I am not going to do that. People are going to think I'm like some crazy salesperson." But God had other plans. And he gets all the glory for this journey because this is so far out of my comfort zone. And I started sharing, and very quickly my friends started joining me, and they started sharing with their friends, and we all started having great results. And let's see. So I started when I was at March, and in November that year I went Emerald. In January I went Sapphire. In February, I went diamond. So 11 months to diamond. For a skeptic who was not going to work this business, if I can do it, anybody can. I am not this like super outgoing person. I say if somebody told me I would have to be on a Zoom or speak on a stage, which you don't have to do any of those things, then I would have said, "You can keep that pink drink. I don't even want to try it." Truthfully, this is not my personality. I have grown to love this company, and I'm passionate about these products. And so I have, that has been huge personal growth for me, is speaking to people. And I'm just a mama who stumbles my words, and, that's just it. But I'm a real person who did this, and I believe that anybody can do this.
I do too. And I love your passion. It's 4 years later, it's still so infectious and so genuine and endearing and captivating. So we know this business has ups and downs.
Right.
So how does Beth stay motivated?
I think there's so much. First of all, do not ever stop going to Plexus events and Plexus meetings. They fuel your fire. Mm-hmm. Every time I go to a meeting, I hear of stories of lives changed forever, right? Absolutely. I mean, people that were not even really able to get out of bed for whatever reason, who were at my meeting telling me this story, and I'm like, your life has changed. People, my sister-in-law, guys, at one point, she called me and she said, I just took, we went ice skating, and she had Jake, the younger one, and her girls, and she goes, I've never been able to ice skate with my kids. I mean, y'all, really? Like, talk about heartstrings. It's changing lives in so many ways. People who are stay-at-home moms, I've been on numerous Zooms where young ladies have had babies, and they're like, because of Plexus, I'm announcing that I get to stay home with my baby. People whose husbands have lost their job, or they've lost their job, and Plexus is there. I mean, your story, Rainey, like hearing the stories of all these different people from around the country who come from different walks of life is what keeps me going. So never stop listening to those. Never stop learning about Plexus, because that really is what keeps me going. My kiddos are what keeps me going, because I want to be a full-time mama. I pray every morning on the way to school. They get to go, they're in private school out here too. And guys, that is totally God's provision right there. And I pray every morning, please provide for them to get to do this until they graduate from high school, please. And Plexus provides that. And so just the things that, I have a board right here, and it has a dream board, and it's a picture of Texas Tech, which I don't know that my kids will go to Texas Tech. That's where we went. But to be able to provide them a college education without them having to take out loans and all of that. And just things that personally and professionally, I look at it every single day. And I know that what my why is. My why has changed so much from the beginning of just wanting to lose weight to now wanting to help change people's lives in health and business. Like, it's grown. And so knowing that, even on our bad days, even on our days where a customer will be like, this isn't for me, I'm not working this, or an ambassador says, this isn't for me, because it happens to all of us, even on the bad days. That's what keeps me going, is knowing the stories, knowing these people. I've become friends with people, and knowing their stories, how it's changed their life. And that's what keeps me going. Absolutely.
Well, and staying in community, that's huge.
Right. It's huge. This is an amazing community. And so absolutely, you can't just be a Plexus ambassador. You have to be a part of Plexus, because you will never, ever, ever want to leave if you're a part of Plexus.
Yeah, it changes you.
It does, for sure.
It changes you. So do you have a motivational phrase, or can be biblical? We have a lot of people who talk about scripture, or just even a go-to phrase that keeps you kind of inspired.
There's so many different things. And when I was reading your questions, I was like, what have I even just read? And so I'm going to tell you this book that I've read, and most people have read it. It's The 4-Year Career by Richard Bliss Brooke. I'm sure I read it at the beginning, but I reread it this year before Super Saturday. And I mean, it like totally, I was just, everybody should read this book. And I'm not a reader. I'm a terrible example to my children on reading. But, it's easy. But I was reading this, and it has some different stories of people, how they became successful in network marketing. And there's one guy in here, his name is Brian Carruthers. And he's just talking about why he says Brian traded his 70-hour work weeks in real estate for time freedom with network marketing, earning over $248,000 his first year. And he says, what we do is give kids their parents back. Ooh. And I mean, I can get tears just saying it right then, because to me, I can't say this journey any better than Plexus has given our kids their mama and their daddy back. And so, yes. And I mean, there's so many different things. I know that's not necessarily a quote per se or inspirational, but for me, it sums it up. And I think so many people are longing for that. Maybe they are working 2 jobs, and they just need to stop working that second job so they have time for their kids. For me, this is my phase of life. And so that is so wow, that's powerful. It really is.
Oh no. I mean, I got teary-eyed as well when you said that. It's true. I think, network marketing at its core allows you to become a better everything, better mama, better wife, better daughter, better sister, better friend even. And so, I'm grateful for that. And and that all falls under the personal development umbrella for sure. So talk to me about some business tips. What do you have for us?
Okay. So I have the top 3. And I'm sure that you've heard them before, because it's funny when we do things like this, how many diamonds sometimes say the same thing, maybe the same way, maybe not the same way. But
it's valued though, that's the thing. Sometimes it is similar, but so what I say to that is pay attention. If multiple diamonds are saying the same thing over and over again, there's something there.
So my first one is share right away. And I was not going to share right away. And literally, y'all, the first one I shared with, I laughed, was my brother and my sister-in-law. It's really funny. So remember, we used to have the old welcome pack kits, guides, whatever. They were like this. Well, I never opened mine, like in the first, Anyway. So my brother comes in town, and this was right after I started. And literally, they're sitting at my kitchen table, and I throw it on the table, and I was like, okay, we're about to start drinking this pink drink. You want to look at it? It's like, not, do you want some? Not whatever. This is what we're about to start taking. And they opened it up and started looking at it. And my sister-in-law was like, oh my gosh, yes, we want to do this. And so, talking about having no clue, I literally threw it on the table. I was like, yeah, I don't know really what it is, but we're going to try it, whatever. And so I shared with them. It's my brother. He's not going to hate me. Like, if he didn't want to do it, great, whatever. But he did. And so then I did start sharing on Facebook and with my friends. And I literally think that God typed my first post and first probably year post, because guys, I'm going to tell you something. I was terrified to post on Facebook. I was like, I'm a yellow personality. That's another good book if you haven't read it, The 4 Colors of Network Marketing. I'm yellow. Like, I kind of need everybody to be friends. Like, I am a pleaser. I'm non-confrontational. Want to make everybody happy. And so I was terrified to post on Facebook. And for a long time, I was terrified to post on Facebook. But here's the deal. I've maybe lost one Facebook friend in 4 years that I know of. If I've lost more, I don't even know it. And nobody's ever said anything ugly or hateful to me. They may have rolled their eyes. They may have unfollowed me. They may have been like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? She's talking about it again. I don't know that. But Facebook is a huge avenue to let people know that you're doing it. I have people from my whole life, different phases of my life, that are on my team or that take products from me, and they would have never known because I was not in communication with them anymore, didn't even know how to communicate with them, that saw my post on Facebook. And so, but what I have learned too since then is we cannot be scared. We cannot be embarrassed. We cannot be ashamed, because we have products that are changing people's lives. I truly believe that everybody can benefit from Plexus in some way. And so we cannot keep that to ourselves. That would be selfish. Guys, so when I moved to this area, it was very hard for me. I was really big about, I needed to build relationships. I needed to find friends. I needed them to get to know me before I even put Plexus out there, because that's just me. And I have one girl, I literally remember meeting her. It was at a football game, and we were leaving for Hawaii like the next day. And later on, she joined my team as a customer first and then as ambassador. And she goes, I wish you would have pulled out a stick of Slim out of your pocket at that football game. People need these products because it changed your life. And so you have to share away. If you have been an ambassador for 3 years and you've never started sharing, that's okay. Today's your day. Today is the day to start sharing. But I'm going to tell you this, that if I did not start sharing when I did, I would not probably be Diamond right now, because several of my team members would have gone with other friends. And word's going to get around and about Plexus, because Plexus is going to be a household name. And so if they're not going to join your team, they're eventually going to join somebody else's team. So you better get your best friends with you, because you want them doing it with you, because they're your best friends.
Oh, good. So, there you go. The truth. That's the truth bomb.
I kind of get excited about these.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So the second one I have is build your belief. And we talked about this, so I'm not going to touch on it too much. build your belief in these products, guys. I mean, they are absolutely changing lives. Follow leaders in this company. A lot of them can't accept friend requests because they're Mac, so follow them. You can see their stuff, learn from them, watch from their YouTube pages. If you start having a bad day, message your upline and say, I need you to build my belief again. Build your belief, because once you have belief in this company, your passion is going to spiral, and you're never going to want to stop sharing these products. Because go to meetings, find other friends. I have people do this all the time. I'm gonna challenge y'all, if that's okay, Rainey.
Oh,
I want y'all to find 3. It can be team members or it can be sidelines, whatever. And I want 3 to 5 you to message them and ask them their plexus story. Because 1, you're going to have testimonies of people that you can use to share, but 2, it's going to start to build your belief. And so that's all I know. My belief never falls because I know what it's done for people. So build your belief and you will want to share with everyone. And the 3rd is be consistent, guys. That is like huge. Huge, huge, huge. I have been consistent for 4 years. I have posted almost every single day on Facebook for 4 years. I will say this because I don't want somebody to say, well, you didn't post on this date. My family and I take a week vacation in the summer and we go screens off. So I do not post on those days. And there's some days that we're at events and everybody else has posted for me. So I don't do that. But there's plexus all over my page and people know that I do plexus. I do not just post on Facebook. My friends know that I do plexus. There isn't really hardly a day that goes by that I don't do something plexus. I do try to set some boundaries. And so some days we're trying to make this family days and more than work days. But you have to be consistent, because here's the deal. If somebody sees you post on Facebook once a month, once a week, they're going to think, it's just a fad. This is not going to last. If people see you posting, if people see you sharing, if people see you drinking your drink, be consistent in the products too. Side note, it's never going to work if you're not consistent in the products. You have to be consistent, guys. That's where people believe you. And I will say this. I mean, just like 2 weeks ago, after 4 years, I had a girl message me. I mean, I've never even talked on the phone with her. Like, we weren't friends like that. And so we were just Facebook friends. I didn't even know she actually was on Facebook. And she messaged me and she's like, hey, I want to talk to you about plexus. But I know now that I know that we're friends, I know we've been friends for 4 years. People are watching. My very best friend, it took her 3 years to even try the products, but people just have to watch. I watched my friends for 8 months and thought they were nuts.
That's true. And we were right in your face. You saw us daily. But I mean, that's just so powerful, Beth, because, you're sending a message,
right?
In your consistency or your lack of. And I'm just going to speak to those that are, making money at this point with plexus. Personally, I think from a loyalty standpoint, you owe it to plexus to be posting on a regular basis, to be sharing on a regular basis, because that's what's paying you,
right.
and the products work. Why are you here?
Right.
So,
well, and I'll say this. I know we do talk a lot about Facebook, but I do share off of Facebook too, and I do message people. And that's very important to know too, because so many people are like, well, I'm posting on Facebook and it's just not working. It's not going to work if you just post on Facebook. You have to tell your friends and family, call them up. Like I said, if Celeste would not have called me up and messaged me, I would not be a Plexus ambassador right now.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Facebook just wouldn't be enough. It was a tool, but we went beyond the tool and reached out.
Right.
And, like you said, followed up and put it directly in front of somebody, versus, hey, assuming that they're seeing your post. I mean, there's all this technology, what do they call it? Algorithms.
Yeah. People don't see half of it.
Exactly. So you're assuming a lot. Okay. Those are awesome tips, by the way. How many level ones have you sponsored in Plexus?
Gosh, I have to put me and Scott together because he has his leg. And then I have my third leg. So it's not my third leg. I have my leg, I have Scott's leg, and then I have my reentry leg. And I mean, truthfully, probably all of us, we may have done 100, maybe. I mean, I'm on the low end of them.
You're somewhere around average.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not low.
I don't know. Everybody's journey is different. And so I will say that I do have 5 jewel legs on my diamond leg. I have 5 jewel legs. I have 2 diamonds. Alicia McKee is my diamond. Ariel Post is a diamond. My husband is an emerald. Then I have 2 other jewel legs. I at last count, I think we had 54 jewels on our team.
Awesome.
So we do have, lots of exciting big teams on our teams too. So.
I love that. I just love that for you. And just think, you weren't working the business. You were super skeptical, and look at all the amazingness. That makes my heart happy. How many of those 100 would you say are running with you? Like, and again, they don't have to be jewels, but
right.
Just working the business on some level.
We have different levels. I'm trying to think. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe we have.
It's a very green question, and it's funny that I even have this on there because I'm being that question a lot. Like one week, the numbers change for me. Like I'm like, I don't know, like maybe 70 people and 20 are at, and then the next week it's like 100 and 15 are active. I don't know.
I really don't know. And truthfully, I do have some new ones that are just starting, and I'm super excited about their new potential and their new business. But I mean, gosh, we probably have 20 or 25 that are working it. Then we have those that are kind of working it, and then we have a wholesale. So I would say that maybe 20 that are really working it, maybe. So
that's I love people to hear at least rough estimates of the numbers. So the reality, what happens down the road,
right?
There's
I will say this: you want a lot of level ones, and like I said, I probably do not have I probably have one of the smaller level 1 amounts. And I have lost, I have people that don't do it anymore. I do have people recently, I've been reaching out to my old ambassadors and actually asking them to come back as customers. And that's been great. But, I do like to share that because so many people see, some of our diamonds that do have hundreds and hundreds of level 1s, which is amazing.
Sure.
Absolutely amazing. But don't let that discourage you either. I think if you're finding quality people who really are going to work the business, all 3 of my first ones work the business. My brother is senior gold. Yes, senior gold. And then 2 diamonds are my first 3. And so I think if you are finding people that are working it and teaching them to work it and not just letting them say, I'm going to be wholesale. Because again, I promise y'all, I was just going to be wholesale. Gently nudge them, because anybody can do this, and people don't realize how easy it is to tell their friends and family. And so I feel like if you're looking at that, and I still try to continue to grow. I mean, and I do. We're pretty good at adding somebody at least every month. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while we'll have a bad month, but it's a roller coaster with everybody. And the roller coaster going up. That's the fun part, right? It's fun, and we're going and we're moving and we're chugging along, and then there's a dip, right? And is that the scary part of the roller coaster? Of course. So you can go on that dip and you can fall off and be like, I'm not doing this anymore. But when you go on a dip on a roller coaster, it always has to go back up, right? And it may flip around a couple of times or whatever, and it's the most fun journey, and it is a journey for sure. So
it is. And I love that you use that roller coaster analogy, because I just kind of had an aha moment. We've used that roller coaster analogy before in this business, but I love what you said, that because like, what is it? Newton's gravity of law is what goes up must come down. And in that it stays down, right? We don't think about it going back up, but comparing our business to being on a roller coaster, it really will. I mean, the promise is it'll go up and it will go down. But guess what? It will go back up again, because you're on a roller coaster.
Right.
It's not an apple falling from a tree. We're talking a roller coaster. So the point
is fun. I mean, fun. I know there's scary parts. I know that, but it's fun. It is a fun journey. Fun.
Absolutely. I 100,000,000% agree with you. So talk to me about a lesson you've learned on this journey to diamond.
Well, I've learned lots.
I mean, just one. I know there's many.
I mean, we talked about like 5 of them earlier. No, I really think personally, one thing that I've learned is not to put yourself in a box. And
good.
I have done things in the past 4 years that I never in a million years thought that I could do. I would never think that I would be successful. I never thought I was going to be a businesswoman. I never thought that I would speak in front of 5 people, much less 1,500 people. I think that I've always been a goal setter pretty much, but I think I've limited myself a lot of times. You know, that's not for me. I could never be that person. I could never do that. I'm a shy person. Starting with this business, I could never do anything with this business. That is not my personality. It's not my personality. And I said this at Super Saturday, and it kind of speaks to this. But I mean it, but I don't mean it in the way that I said it. I don't think I said, I'm not like the super smart businesswoman. Okay. I'm a good friend. And I am a good friend, and I love people and I love relationships, but I think you can do that and you can still be a businesswoman. And I think I need to even still work on seeing myself as I am a businesswoman. Mm-hmm. I mean, I am doing something and I have been successful at business. But you get in your mind and you think, you put yourself in this little bitty box. Well, this is all I can do with my life. I'm not that person. I'm not, you see people, this will be one example. I remember sitting at convention in Dallas, our very first convention. I'd never been to anything Plexus besides our smaller meetings. I guess I'd been to Super Saturday, but it was the first one was small. And I was Diamond. And so I'm sitting up there with all these people, and I'm looking around going, I think there were like maybe 30 diamonds at that point. And I'm like, these are all like amazing rock stars. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to be sitting with them. And I remember Sarah Marble looking at me going, "Hey, Beth." And I was like, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to me? I didn't feel like I deserved them to talk to me. We're Helen McFadden and just saying, "Oh my gosh, we're so excited you're here." Like, knew who I was. And I'm thinking, how do they know who I am? I'm nobody. I can't do this. I'm not them. Anyways, I sat on the very last seat of the diamond section. I sat next to Cheyenne Weevil. She was Sapphire and went diamond at that convention. And she's become one of my very, very best friends. And we randomly met sitting there. Well, we remember now that we met one other time before. But anyways, and at one point, Sonia and Helen came out on stage and they said, we used to sit in this convention center. And we always said, we will be on that stage one day. And Cheyenne and I looked at each other and we were like, no, thank you. We will never be on stage speaking. That is not us. I will say this, that both of us now have not been on convention stage speaking, but we have spoken at Super Saturdays. We have spoken at opportunity meetings for corporate. It's something that I said I could never do. And so I think that something to learn is don't put yourself in a box. Mm-hmm. Don't limit yourself and don't limit your dreams, because this journey is so much of an amazing growth time. Mm-hmm. You never know what you're going to do.
That was so well said. Oh my goodness sakes. I love every bit of what you just said. So last question for you. We made it. We're almost there. So we know that at Diamond, there's some financial blessings.
Yeah.
So will you share with us some ways that you've either been able, just something that you've been able to do that's meaningful to you, whether it's a splurge or, you went out and you saved the world, whatever it is, but would you mind sharing that with it?
Okay. So gosh, like this will make you get emotional. I mean, for real. Seriously. So
let me get my tissue. Wait.
Not even
I have to use my sweater sleeve.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So in the past 4 years, we have been able to do so many things, and family is so huge to me. Time with my family is so huge to me. Memories with my family is so huge to me. I remember if you've seen my Diamond documentary, it very much shows that. I remember being in a meeting with Tarl in Dallas. I don't know what it was, but he came and interviewed us, and that was his question to me. I know you're all about making memories. Tell us about that. And so because of Plexus, I remember thinking in the very beginning, I remember telling Ariel, we were sitting in our office, and I said, gosh, Ariel, if we could just make $500 a month, we won't have to stress about Christmas. What a blessing that would be to not have to stress about Christmas, right? And we were making more than $500 at that point, so I don't even know why I said that number, but I did. And I remember going past that Christmas and just not having that stress, right? And it's not about things by any means, but, Christmas can be stressful. Mm-hmm. And, I worked until after I was Diamond. And so then when I was able to stay home with my kids again, that was just one of the biggest blessings ever, because I get to be with my kids all the time. I can stop whatever I'm doing at any point in my life and go be with my kids. And that is huge to me. My husband is now home, not traveling. He actually does not work for anyone anymore. He's actually pursuing some of his dreams. He just started a new business, and he also gets to coach, volunteer his time. And he is last year was junior high and varsity, but this year he will just be a varsity coach at our kids' school. And something that he could have never done. He loves it. He's making a difference in tons of kids' lives, and to see him get to do that and the excitement that he has with that is truly amazing. Getting to pay for my kids' private school, not worry, not stress about it. Getting to send them, that's important to us. And before Plexus, we were like, before Plexus, we actually were on financial aid for private school and still struggled every month to make that payment. So now to know that we can do that and that we can help other people, we can donate to the scholarship fund and we can help other people. We can donate to different things. When people are going on mission trips or people are just in need, period, because people are in need, we can do that without batting an eye and just, helping people in need, helping people have. The other thing I love to do is giving people some memories, whether it be, hey, let's go to Gaylord Ice, and blessing them with that memory of taking their kids there. Because I know before Plexus, I remember the first time we went to go see Ice at the Gaylord, and this is something so small, but it's something that really is tangible to me. Our Scott's sister and her family paid for us to go, and we would have never been able to go. And so now being able to do that for people, and it wasn't about a thing, it was about making that memory with my kids. And so being able to do that for other people now without batting an eye is huge. And then, just really the time freedom, we do have tangible things. We travel a lot with our kiddos, and we make memories at home all the time. Whether it's cooking together or whether it's playing dominoes together, you can make memories any way that you want. But now getting to give them things, memories, going places and traveling and having memories together that we can just be together. Gosh, time goes so fast with them. And I just want to be with them all the time.
I'm like, well, and that's always been your heart, and I love hearing the blessing and that it's just, Beth, I've always said this about money, and I have always prefaced it with I'm sure I've duplicated this quote from somewhere, that it just allows you to be more of who you are, and it's allowed you to be more of who you are, who is an amazing person. And I know that those that have chosen to tune in and watch this series are taking away from this episode your genuineness, your heart, and I know that they can see why you and I become friends. So, I cherish you. You're an amazing person, first and foremost. You're an incredible leader, and more importantly, you're just a good friend, mama, wife, sister, daughter, all of that. And so thank you so much for sharing your time. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you for asking me. I love this. I may have to do this idea. I love it.
It's so much fun, and I love this time with you. So thank you again. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. And until we do this again, y'all get out there, apply some of these practices that Beth has shared with you. And as always, go Plexus.